Today we are going to be talking about and comparing Greek sculptures and styles with me, Liam O'Leary, Elijah Torres, and Ryder.
So first, we're gonna go over the overview of Greek sculptures. Greek art was an influence, as we know, it changed drastically over a long period of time due to influence of religion, kingdom, and gods. And one way we can definitely see that is in like Greek mythology. I feel like is like a really, like I guess popular way we can see like Greek sculptures used.
Yeah, I mean, also when you look at it just over time, there's been a lot of technological advancements. So, kind of over time, you could see kind of shifts in the sculptures and how they're different over time. Some are a lot more defined, some aren't. We'll kind of get into that throughout the rest of our presentation. But overall, it expressed a physical form of praise and appreciation. The rise and fall of large kingdoms and empires funded artists and schools to promote the art but with heavy, strict guidelines. As you can see, we have the three different time periods in the bottom left. We're going to be going through all of those shortly, but yeah, we'll get to the next slide. So a little bit of background, or we'll start with characteristics. An archaic smile is often seen on a lot of these ones for the archaic style sculptures. They have a very abstract body, symmetrical hips and shoulders. The foot is always slightly forward and simple facial features. Another thing that you always see is braided hair. But yeah, majority affected by Egyptian influence. Through trade networks, the colonization of Greek states inspired artists to express through their sculptures. Mainly focused on naturalism of the human body, sparked the trend of freestanding sculptures as well, which I thought was super interesting.
Uh,
For the next one, we're gonna kind of be looking in kind of on their bodies and kind of everything. But first, we want to give you guys a second to just take a look yourself. Kind of just point out a couple things that you might see, and we're gonna list them off here in a second and see. We might have some similar ones as you.
all right, so maybe some of the ones you've seen was definitely the smile, and both of them you can see like I guess I would say like kind of a very joyful smile, like an elegant smile. I would say you can definitely see the hips and the shoulders on the right one very symmetrical, and you can see the slightly forward foot on the left side, and then also the braided hair. And I think one reason why they did it, like if you look at the way it's braided, it's definitely like very unique, and I guess I would say like puts them above, makes it look like they're more important than other people, I guess I would say.
Yeah, another thing you could see also that I'm now looking at, I'm just realizing this now as looking back at it, you can kind of see the beard on the left one. They did a little design in the chin to kind of give it some texture to make it look as if it was a beard. So it's just little things like that that you notice in these, earlier, statues that I think are super cool.
Moving on to like the more classical style sculptures, some of the characteristics are like natural body proper measurements, realism, and definitely composed expressions, beauty of the human. And they definitely wanted to give like a perfection look, just to I guess like show how much more important they were. I guess some background and influence. It was definitely the style was used during the time of Alexander the Great's rule, and the religious beliefs were focused on the 12 Greek deities. And this is definitely a time for humans to experiment.
But yeah, no, definitely. There's a lot to unpack in this. But I think, for me, what I thought was interesting when I kind of looked through these is just kind of looking how the art changed from different time periods. So that was art through Alexander. We're about to be looking at the classical art through the Alexander the Great's rule. And it's kind of cool. Just keep that in mind when we're going through this. You kind of like look at how the art changes before and after his rule.
Here are just some examples of sculptures that you can see that are from this time period. Um,
Something that I really like in these is just like it's always doing a like a motion. You know, there's something going on. So on the left, you have him throwing a disc. I think that's pretty cool. It's more exciting art in my opinion when they're doing an action rather than just standing flat-footed. You can see there's a lot more. Just they took the little things in more. You can kind of see more bone structure. You can see V taper. I think that's some of the things that stood out for me on this one.
Another thing I would say is that they definitely like keep like the more simplistic look of them, like more perfection. They don't really show a lot of different emotions and stuff in this. It's just like they're just elegant, I guess I would say, proper, and yeah. So
so now we're going to be looking at the Hellenistic style sculptures. We'll start with characteristics again. This one was more revealing and complex. There was more emotion overall in these sculptures. Sorry, there's you'll see some struggle, pain, triumph. You'll see a lot. But some of the poses, they're more dramatic. Everything's more detailed with the muscles, the textures, clothings. These were also the larger statues at this, throughout the past couple time periods, excuse me. But some background stuff. This period represents the time after the death of Alexander the Great. With his death, it allowed different regional influences to begin to melt together. So we just saw different art styles, like kind of mixing.
again, here are some of the examples. The one on the right really stands out to me. There's just so much going on. You can definitely see the emotion in his face, and like just shows all the pain, I guess I would say. Like the story really goes through his emotions and stuff. If you look at the muscles and like his obliques and stuff, they're really defined, and he definitely has like a perfect godly body shape. And even if you look at the people on the side of him, like the drape going down, they always had that usually. And even their bodies are, you can tell they're not as good as the god's shape, I guess I would say.
100%. Yeah, I would say this one is the one that stuck out to me the most. Just all the, the different features that are, they just did a great job on this piece, in my opinion. So the impact of Greek sculptures in art. As you can see on the left, Statue of Liberty, which obviously correlates to past Greek statues. It just kind of shows the story. It just kind of shows the story, and it kind of describes, when you're coming into the United States, that's the first thing you see, and I think that really just speaks to what, these sculptures are. It's something that you remember. It's something that, you think about, and it's something you always take away from a place is the sculptures, so I think that's super cool.
We just want to like wrap it up and say thank you for it, and yeah, here are some of the works I did, and that's it.
Thank you.